In January 2017, Serena Williams won the Australian Open. She defeated her sister Venus in the final, 6-4, 6-4, in what was their 9th Grand Slam final against each other. It was Serena's 23rd major title, the most in the Open era by any player, male or female. It was also, she would later reveal, played while she was 8 weeks pregnant. She did not know she was pregnant at the time. She found out 2 days before the tournament began, took the test, was stunned by the result, and then went out and won the most competitive tennis tournament on earth. That detail is worth sitting with for a moment, because it is, in miniature, the Serena Williams story. The stakes are impossible. The circumstances are extraordinary, and she wins anyway. Like and subscribe if you're new here. This one covers 30 years. Hit the bell. Serena Williams was born on September 26, 1981, in Saginaw, Michigan. She grew up in Compton, California. Her father, Richard Williams, made a decision when Serena and her older sister Venus were very young. He would train both of them to be professional tennis players on public courts in a neighborhood that had nothing to do with the country clubs and private academies where the sports establishment operated. He made this decision, reportedly, before either girl had ever picked up a racket. The Williams family's arrival in professional tennis is well documented and frequently mythologized. What is important to understand for the purposes of Serena's story is the baseline context. She was a black woman competing in a sport with a historically white country club culture, trained outside the traditional academy system, and arriving at the tour at an age when the establishment had already made up its mind about what top-tier tennis players were supposed to look like and where they were supposed to come from. She won the U.S. Open in 1999. She was 17 years old. It was her 4th Grand Slam event as a professional. What followed over the next 23 years was a career of such statistical dominance that the debates about the greatest tennis player of all time, often structured around Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, and Novak Djokovic on the men's side, are incomplete without her name at the center of the conversation. 23 Grand Slam singles titles, 73 tour-level titles in total, 4 Olympic gold medals, a career-winning percentage in Grand Slam matches above 80%, a serve that, at its peak, was the most lethal weapon in women's tennis. But the numbers do not capture what Serena Williams actually endured to accumulate them. In 2011, she underwent surgery to repair a torn tendon in her foot. Shortly after, she developed a blood clot in her lungs, a pulmonary embolism. She was hospitalized. For a period, the outcome was uncertain. She returned to the tour and won 4 more Grand Slams, including 3 in 2012 and 2013 alone. In 2017, she gave birth to her daughter, Alexis Olympia. The delivery nearly killed her. Serena has spoken publicly about what happened. She recognized the symptoms of a pulmonary embolism from her 2011 experience, told the medical staff what she suspected, and was initially dismissed. She persisted. Testing confirmed she was right. There were multiple clots in her lungs. She also developed a hematoma in her abdomen following an emergency cesarean section. She spent weeks recovering in her hospital room, unable to hold her daughter for days after the birth. She came back to professional tennis 6 months later. She reached the Wimbledon final in 2018, her first Grand Slam final after giving birth. She reached the U.S. Open final the same year. That U.S. Open final is its own chapter in the Serena Williams story. She played against Naomi Osaka. During the match, chair umpire Carlos Ramos issued Serena a code violation for receiving coaching from her box, a violation she denied. She broke her racket in frustration and received a second violation. She called Ramos a thief for the point penalty. He issued a game penalty. She argued that the enforcement was unequal, that male players who behaved similarly were not penalized, and made that argument explicitly on court. The crowd booed. The match ended with Osaka winning her first Grand Slam title in tears, the victory overshadowed by a controversy that would be debated for years. Serena's argument about unequal enforcement was not invented in the heat of the moment. It was documented. Studies of Grand Slam officiating had shown that male players received more lenient treatment in similar code violation situations. Her statement about the disparity was specific and credible. What is also true is that the moment consumed a young player's first major title and left the tournament in chaos. The scrutiny of Serena Williams never stopped at tennis. From the beginning of her career, commentary about her body was pervasive, her muscularity described as masculine, her physique compared unfavorably to the slender profiles that dominated women's tennis before she arrived. That commentary was inseparable from race. The standards applied to her across her career were different from those applied to other players. The debate about whether she was the greatest player of all time was consistently interrupted by questions that were not asked of white players with comparable records. She answered those questions with Grand Slams. In August 2022, she announced in Vogue magazine that she would be evolving away from tennis, her deliberate choice of words instead of retirement. She played her final professional match at the US Open in September 2022, losing in the third round to Ajla Tomljanovic in 3 sets in front of a sold-out Arthur Ashe Stadium that stood for her when she walked off the court. 23 Grand Slams, 30 years, 1 daughter, and a career that forced the sport to reckon with who it had been built for and who it could no longer afford to ignore. The women who came after Serena Williams, Naomi Osaka, Coco Gauff, Iga Swiatek, play in a sport that was demonstrably changed by her presence. The prize money in women's tennis reflects her advocacy. The visibility of Black women in the sport reflects her example. The expectation that a player can be a mother and a champion simultaneously, that a player can challenge an official and name the double standard without losing her dignity, that a player from Compton can walk into Wimbledon and belong there. All of that is because Serena Williams did it first. She did not just win 23 Grand Slams. She changed the conditions under which the next generation competes. Subscribe. The next story on your screen is about what those conditions still get wrong.